Welcome back to the archives, traveler. There are kills that end wars, and there are kills that reveal the war was never what it seemed. The passage had been long, dark, silent except for the distant rhythm of something vast consuming. The quartet stood at the mouth of the tunnel. Before them stretched Voragath's territory, scorched land reeking of rot. The sky churned with sickly green light, the weight of a sovereign's curse. And across that wasteland moved an army. Thousands of demons, thralls birthed from stolen souls. They marched toward Iron Cove in endless waves. This was the siege. This was what Voragath had been creating. But the Spire of Bile rose in the distance, a jagged tower of black stone and bone, pulsing with sickly light. That was where Voragath worked. That was where the souls were harvested. The quartet exchanged a look, no words, just a nod. They moved. Slipping through shadows between marching columns of demons, the thralls did not see them, mindless, driven only by their creator's will. The spire grew closer. The entrance was unguarded. Voragath was confident no one had breached his territory in decades. The quartet descended. The air was thick, wet. It tasted of bile and iron. The walls pulsed. This was not stone. This was living flesh. They descended deeper. The light grew brighter, sickly green and purple. And then they saw it. The chamber was vast, a cathedral of corruption. In the center, suspended by chains, was the phylactery. A massive lantern carved from bone and metal, bound with ancient runes. It glowed with the light of 1,000 trapped souls, and before it stood Voragath. Or what appeared to be Voragath, a towering demon, armored in blackened bone, horned, clawed. It stood before the phylactery, mouth open, inhaling. Souls poured from the lantern into the demon's maw, screaming, writhing, and from the demon's body, new thralls were birthed. They dropped to the floor, twitched, rose, and marched toward the exits. This was the factory, the engine of the siege. The quartet moved. Kylester and Lair circled left toward the phylactery. Tharok and Valory moved right. 2 objectives, 1 moment. The brothers would destroy the lantern, Tharok would kill Voragath, and Valory would be the spear. Tharok knelt. Valory stepped onto his shield. She knocked an arrow of pure mana. It blazed silver green, the air humming with power. Tharok stood, his muscles coiled. Then he hurled her. Valory flew, spinning, her bow drawn, the arrow burning brighter. The demon's head snapped toward her, its mouth opened in a shriek. Valory released. The arrow flew true, a streak of silver fire, and it passed through the demon. Not a miss. It passed through as if the demon were not there, because it wasn't. The glamour shattered. The massive demon flickered, dissolved like smoke, and behind it, revealed at last, was the truth. Voragath the Devourer, sovereign of gluttony, lord of the maw. Not a warrior, not a beast, a glutton. Bloated, barely able to stand, he sat on a throne of bone, belly distended, mouth smeared with consumed souls, draped in rotting silk, no weapons, only appetite. The chamber fell silent. Voragath blinked, confused. His glamour, maintained for so long, was gone, and charging across the floor was Tharok. The Rhinarchen did not slow. He reached for his shield. The chain went taut. He ripped the shield free and hurled it. The shield spun, a disk of iron and ancestral hide, whistling through the air. Voragath tried to stand, tried to speak. The shield struck. Clean, horizontal, unstoppable. Voragath's head separated from his body. It fell, rolled, came to rest at the throne's base, eyes wide in shock. The body slumped, twitched, then dissolved. The phylactery hung for a moment, then the chains snapped. It fell and shattered. Souls poured out, not screaming, rising, thousands of wisps of light and memory finally freed. They ascended, through walls, through ceiling, into the space where the dead belong. And the thralls began to fall. Outside, across the wasteland, the army of the Maw crumbled. Thousands of demons collapsed to dust. Within seconds, the tide became ash. Then the curse broke. The sky above split open. The sickly veil tore, and through it poured sunlight, pure, unfiltered, holy. The demons from other sovereigns, backup forces loaned to fuel the siege, scattered, fled into shadows, away from the burning light. The quartet stood in silence, breathing. Voragath's body was gone. The phylactery was shards. The souls were free. Kylister looked at Lair. Tharok retrieved his shield. Valory lowered her bow. It was over. The archivist notes this moment, not for its violence, but for its revelation. They had come expecting a monster. They found a glutton hiding behind illusion. They had come expecting a fight. They found a kill. And in the aftermath, as the sun broke through and the land began to heal, they understood something the Meridian had forgotten. Sovereigns are not invincible. They are hunger, pride, and malice given form. And hunger can be starved, pride can be broken, malice can be ended. The quartet turned and began the walk back to Iron Cove. The siege was over. The city was saved. 2 sovereigns had fallen. Malzareth the Chinder, Voragath the Devourer. 5 remained, and somewhere in the north, the traitor still waited. The archives are now closed.